Hello! Welcome to GMAT Tuesdays. I'm Kevin here at Magoosh, and today we're going over note-taking. We get a lot of questions that come in about taking notes, whether or not you should take notes when you're reading a passage. Students feel like they're taking too many notes and they don't know what to do. They feel like they're wasting their time doing it. I'm here to tell you, take notes. Note-taking is an important part of doing well. Especially when you have a very long, confusing, complex, maybe kind of boring reading passage in front of you. Note-taking activates your mind. It gives you something to do when you go into one of those passages. So it gives you a little extra focus. It also allows you to take things that you're keeping in your short-term memory and put them down somewhere else so you don't have to hold them there while you go through the questions and the answers. So it's actually going to be a great benefit for you. So a couple tips. Don't worry about your length at first. You'll improve as you practice more. So in the beginning of your studies, you know you're going to write a lot of notes. You're not sure what is important and what is not important. You sort of are putting down information that you end up not using later. And so just keep at it, keep focused, keep reading. You'll learn more and more about what is important and what isn't. If you need a little help, I recommend taking notes on the main idea, structure, and purpose of the passage. So always be thinking about what is this passage all about. The structure, by that I mean what is the relationship of ideas from paragraph to paragraph. And then finally, what is the author's purpose? Is the author describing something? Is the author arguing about something? As simple as just figuring out if they have an argument or if they're just describing some situation is probably enough. So what I've done here is I took some notes on a passage. There's going to be a link down below the video, not in the video, but below the video. Go ahead and pause the video, click on the link, read the passage at the very top there, and then we can go through my notes. Ready? Go! Are you back? Did you read it? I hope so. Okay, so when I first started studying, I took lots of notes on this passage. There's 3 paragraphs, so I have 3 sections here, and I wrote down some details, I wrote down some main ideas from the paragraphs, so let's dive in and see. So the main idea I found was that there's amendment to the Constitution that's a little ambiguous. So I wrote amendment to Constitution. Then I have ST, structure, so in the first paragraph here, we have the founders like natural rights, Bill of Rights added to protect natural rights, and then 9th Amendment tells us more. Okay? Continuing forward, I have traditionalists see 9th as not creating rights, only protects rights that we have stated or not. Then getting into the third, this is about the liberalists, and they see the 9th as protecting lots of rights. And in here I'm actually writing down some examples that are mentioned in the paragraph. And so this is, it's a nice outline, but it might take too much time on test day. But at the beginning of your studies, don't worry too much about time. Write down everything that you think is important. And as you progress and as you start working on your pacing, then you can start thinking about how do I write down only what's important? How do I shorten things up? Can I use abbreviations? Can I use symbols? Is there some way that I can speed this process up? And as you practice, by the time you get to test day, your notes will be very brief, very abbreviated, and they're just there to sort of spark your mind, to remind you about what you read. So for example, on test day, I might not write Amendment to Constitution, I might just write 9th Amendment, and not even spell it correctly, because I don't care. It's just there to remind me of what the main idea is of the paragraph. It's kind of like a visual tool to click something in your mind to remind you about what you read. So this first paragraph I would definitely shorten, in my notes. So I would go FF for Founding Fathers, and then 9th, because that's what the 9th Amendment is about. Oftentimes, what you might even do is instead of writing all this, if you've already identified the main idea, a lot of times the first paragraph introduces the main idea. So I might just write main idea. There's no other information in there. The second paragraph is all about the traditionalists and their view of the 9th Amendment, so why not just write Trid 9th? And then I'll remember, oh, that's where the traditionalists talk about their view of the Ninth Amendment. Then finally here, lib ninth. So here it will remind me of the liberalists and their view of the Ninth. And hopefully as you read and read and read, you won't need to write down these details. You'll just need these sort of main ideas so you can go back and navigate the passage if you are searching for a specific detail. All right, so those are my tips for note-taking. I have one pro tip for you. Don't use paper or pen when you are practicing. Instead, mimic the test and get a dry erase marker and a small whiteboard. You can even get those plastic sleeves that we put in binders. Put just a white piece of paper in there, and then you can write on that and wipe it clean with a Kleenex. This will mimic the testing environment more so than using pen and paper. It is a little strange to take notes with these things because they are kind of fat and they'll bleed a little bit. So definitely try to mimic the test environment as much as you can and take notes with dry erase markers. All right, if you have any comments, questions, put them below. I'll be back here next Tuesday to tell you more. I hope you have an excellent day. Be excellent to the universe, and I will see you soon.